Ben gets the snap. He scrambles around, throws it back corner of the end zone. Santonio with a touchdown. Santonio holds. I don't know how he did it.
What a throw. What a catch. What a game.
Wilson, quick throw. And it's good. Intercepted. Intercepted by Malcolm Butler. Butler has it at the one. Malcolm Butler stepped in front of the throw. And the Patriots have possession.
Tatum drives down and throws it down. Wow. Brown to Smart. Smart to Tatum. Sets, fires, three-pointer. Bang. Jason Tatum has electrified the crowd.
Good whatever time it is, everybody, and welcome back to episode 9 of the JM Touchdown Show. My name is Joe Shea, Fanatics Sports. Joining me today is Mike Kennedy of MikeKennedyNFL. And a little FYI, I'm going to be chirping Mike throughout this whole episode. Someone forgot their mic and camera, and it was too late to go back. So, there will be...
Listen, at least when I leave, I actually bring my mic and camera because nobody knows this, but that's why we didn't have a podcast last week because Joe couldn't bring his mic and camera when he went out of town, so...
Hey.
I'm just on that.
Hey. At least I didn't forget it. I told you I couldn't. Anyways.
So it was a choice.
Anyways,
it's all laugh at Mike day today, you know.
We're like friends now, the show. All right. What do we got?
Well, first, everybody has to compliment me on that wonderful intro music.
I just want you guys to know that was the first time I've ever heard it, and when I heard the Malcolm Butler pick and then the Tatum, I was, whew.
He was in heaven. Even though I'm not a Seahawks fan, it pained me to include that play just as a strictly NFL fan, but I had to include both hosts of the pod.
Co-host guy.
Joe. Co-host guy, yes, that's your name,
yep.
Co-host guy. Thanks to Tom from the Clonecast for making that your name. I thought he and I were friends, but apparently he likes you more than me, and he doesn't even know your name, so... Anyways, co-host guy, our beloved Boston Celtics. They are up 2-1 in the NBA Finals. Last night, they came back. They were up 17 points. They had let the Warriors come all the way back to take the lead. And then in the fourth quarter, they dominated. Just not like in game one, but pretty similar with how thoroughly dominant they were in the final period. What are your takeaways from game 3, and what do you think they'll do going forward?
Listen. Watching game 3, I was fine the first 2 quarters, right? Like, we had talked about this. Like, we were up, like, a lot. And then, like, third quarter was bad, but what pissed me off the most with everyone else, the Steph 3, that was an and 1 and a flagrant 7-point play, plus get the ball back. Otto Porter Jr. is apparently the second coming of Jesus Christ with that shot. Fade away, no time on the shot clock, role player, and then he just drains that 3. I couldn't believe it. But I loved how the boys rallied in the fourth, outscoring them by 12. We finally got a decent Tatum scoring game. I mean, he shot 39% from the field. And then we also had a Smart, great scoring game along with Jalen. And a amazing game by Robert Williams. 8, 10, how many blocks was it? Was it 4? Yeah, and 3 steals. I would say he was the best out there, Robert Williams. And that's weird to say.
Especially with how bad he's looked since he came back from injury. Like, it wasn't just that he looked bad, he looked lost. Like,
yeah.
He shouldn't have been even playing. And last night he looked like the defensive player of the year caliber player that he was all season for the second half of the entire season. So I was really impressed with him. But I have to throw a shout out to Marcus Smart because I keep seeing this stat thrown around about Draymond Green, how the Warriors are basically unstoppable when Draymond plays well. But that's pretty much true of Marcus Smart. If he has one of those even if he doesn't shoot the greatest, if he scores like 20 points, maybe hits 3-4 threes,
we win.
What can he do? He's already one of the best defensive players in the league. So, and then you have Jalen and Jason also going for 20 plus. They combined for 77 points on the night. The Celtics are just so deep, and they're so consistent across the board. Like, I think the Warriors probably have higher peak overall with how they can just completely blow up in a quarter like they have.
The thing is, our offense has, like, a higher, like, margin of error in a way, you know what I'm saying? Like, because we don't rely on the movement and the three-point shooting. Like, if we're not shooting good from three, we can score other ways. The Warriors, if they're not shooting good from three, it's kind of wraps.
Or even like if Jason Tatum shoots 3 of 17, you can still win the game by double digits as they did in Game 1. But also, a lot of talk has been about Jason Tatum and his poor shooting.
He missed like 4 open layups yesterday. That was so annoying. Like,
and then he just started making them all in the
and one of them was just like one of them was like a ridiculous layup. I was like, how do you make that? I don't. That was stupid, but
I have to say that even with the poor shooting, he's been spectacular as just a pure playmaker. He had 13 assists and only 2 turnovers in Game 1, and he had 9 and 2 last night. So going back to the start of the Eastern Conference Finals, the Celtics are 6-0 when he has more assists than turnovers, and 0-4 when he has more turnovers than assists. So, like, it's the NBA Finals, but, like, sometimes it's really as simple as that. We've harped all season long about the Celtics' turnovers and how they cannot just stop with these absolutely stupid brain-dead turnovers, like just
dribbling into a crowd of 5.
That's his favorite move. But, like, if they can just limit them, I don't really see how the Celtics can lose this series if they can just limit them to a regular amount. But you mentioned Jaylen Brown. We saw how he had that hot start in Game 3 offensively. He had like 9 points in the first 2.5 minutes, and then he completely wet the bed. Last night, he had an even hotter start. He had 17 points in the first quarter, but he didn't let up from there. So I was really impressed by him. And then especially his defense in the fourth quarter. He was playing Avery Bradley level defense on the perimeter, and he was like Robert Williams in the paint blocking shots.
No, wait. That block he had on Clay, right? That was me and my friends. We were all going off. Inbound, Jordan Poole, open layup on Jalen. Like, what was that about? Jalen didn't even try.
And then do have those amazing plays, and then just it's like his brain shuts off for 5 seconds. I'm like, okay, whatever. But I think at this point, Jaylen Brown has to be your Finals MVP.
As of right now,
it's early, but like Horford had the one good game. Tatum, his shooting has not been there. Smart has been off and on. So
can we talk about something for a second?
No, we cannot.
The new Boston, the new version of Kyrie Irving in Boston, Draymond Green. Draymond Green has played horrible in this series.
Even he's admitted it on his own press conference with his little kid sitting right by him.
Yeah, he's been so bad. Like, he's getting Ben Simmons level of disrespect right now. And I am so happy because I hate Draymond. He's a dirty player, always has been. Gets away with every single moving screen, which is every screen he sets. He literally tootie truck. Was it Grant or was it Jalen in Game 2?
It was Jalen, I think. I mean, he might have caught Grant
too.
He
trucked Jaylen Brown, and it was a foul on Jalen. He Derrick Henry'd Jaylen Brown. I don't get that. But, and first off, that flagrant foul on Al.
Flagrant
shut
foul.
Up. That flagrant foul on Al Horford. Yeah, that's the rule. But he didn't try to do it.
Rule.
He did not even attempt to do that. He was just going to contest the shot. And whatever. Scott Foster, the stupid 12-0 stat, we're now 6-3 against you. I say against. You suck. Tony Brothers, I hope to Lord you're not reffing any of our games the rest of the way.
And I don't know if you follow any Warriors fans on Twitter. I do. I also listen to a couple podcasts because I used to be like big into that Warriors-Cavaliers rivalry. They are completely going all in on the refs for last night's game being why they lost. I'm like, one, that's not why
guys,
they lost.
here's a great example.
Been a couple calls that
here's a great example. Mike is currently frozen and blurry.
What?
Yeah.
Me? I think it's just your computer because I can see both of us moving perfectly fine.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's not blame it on the fact that you. What's that wind? What's the wind?
That was thunder, actually.
Oh, really? That's crazy.
Yeah. Can you see? Am I moving
No,
now?
No, not at all. All right, guys. Let's blame this all on him for forgetting his stuff.
Most people listen to our audio version of the podcast rather than the video, so let's just act like this never even happened and keep going. And they get to see... Well, I mean, the recording is on my end anyways, so what are we even wasting time about this for?
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, finals.
Scott
Foster, you suck. Tony Brothers, you didn't even ref the game last night. You still deserve a shout-out. You suck, too. You too suck. NBA has a reffing problem. I don't want to get into it. Finals, Celtics in 6. Screw Clay, Game 6 Clay. I don't care about that. I refuse to make another Celtics edit, though, because every time I've done it, we lost the next game.
The streak has continued. Neither of these teams have lost consecutive games in this postseason. Do you think that streak will continue in Game 4? Or can the Celtics break the Warriors?
Celtics going up 3-1. I don't care what you say. We're at home.
All right.
We're at home.
I'm here for it.
Everyone's healthy. We're chilling. We're fine.
You gonna go to any games in Boston since you're up there?
I entered a giveaway on What's the Word Mass Instagram account for tickets to Game 4.
Wow. It's one of my friends, Zach. He lives down here in Gainesville, Florida. He's up there in Boston right now. He's going to Game 4. He's going to stag me a free T-shirt. I'm like, and you can't even go, and you're right in the area. You could probably walk.
Well, I'm at my house, not my apartment, but that would be like an hour walk from my apartment anyways. But
that's nothing.
Anyways, tickets are like $500+ so like no.
I haven't even seen them that low.
I haven't looked.
I haven't seen anything lower than 800.
I was just saying. I'm not doing that. No. Anyways. Yeah, I got the Celtics in 6.
I have one more question about the finals. Do you think for the 4th consecutive game we'll see Luke Cornett see minutes?
That's a good question. Yes, because I think we need his electrifying threes and blowouts.
That's perfectly fair, and I don't know if this is going to come through on the audio, but this is some loud.
Yeah, no, I can hear it. Yeah, I can hear it.
All right, so this is probably the worst possible podcast I could have not brought my mic for, since we're just using the regular audio. But, we can't always be perfect.
No.
Can't wait to
Nobody's
bite home
perfect.
in this
afterwards. Yeah, good luck with that.
Anyways, I think we've talked enough about the NBA Finals. Hopefully, your prediction comes true. So, since we're mostly an NFL-focused podcast, let's jump to the latest news there. And the Super Bowl champion, Los Angeles Rams, actually made a couple deals these past couple days, locking up both Aaron Donald and Cooper Kupp, their biggest superstars on the team. Aaron Donald, they gave him $95 million over 3 years. Obviously, there's more to that with void years and whatnot. And Cooper Kupp, they signed him to a 3-year, $80 million extension with $75 million guaranteed, and it's worth $110 over the full 5 years.
The Rams are cheating. The Rams are cheating. I really do not understand how they do this. I know the salary cap is fake. I understand that. But how do they keep doing this to where they sign all their star players to these lucrative deals? And I don't know. I don't know. This is stupid. They're going to be good forever until whenever the salary cap stuff finally bites them in 30 years when it doesn't matter anymore. This is stupid. I don't get it. I really don't get it.
I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a salary cap expert. I'm like, oh, they did that? I don't know how they did that, but sure, whatever you say. But At least like with like the Donald, I get it. I was looking into it a little bit actually. It's a 3-year deal, but there's actually 5 years on the contract, and the final 2 years.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
So he'll be getting paid $23 million those final 2 years, despite presumably not being on the team. So that's how they were able to get him signed to this contract, because he'll be getting paid less in these upcoming years. But it's just crazy how they made Donald the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. And then days later, Cooper Kupp gets the highest guarantee for any wide receiver in NFL history. For a team that we're all like, okay, they cannot do anything.
I don't get it. I do not understand how they do it. I need someone in the NFL space to just tell me. I want to sit down with them for an hour and have them explain it to me.
And but like you said, they're going to be good for a while, because now Kupp and Stafford won't be free agents until 2026, and players signed through at least the 2024 season: Stafford, Kupp, some loud thunder, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, Allen Robinson, Bobby Wagner, Leonard Floyd, Brian Allen. Like, all these players, they're core pieces. They're all signed for at least the next 3 seasons. So they're not going anywhere anytime soon. You have a shocked look on your face, co-host guy.
I hate the Rams.
And
I don't, though, because I love Matthew Stafford. But, like, my God, do I hate the Rams right now. What were you saying?
Another takeaway is this is now the Cooper Kupp deal is the 8th wide receiver deal this offseason who signed for at least $20 million per year. I feel like that's kind of the story of the offseason, is all these wide receivers: Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, DJ Moore, everybody else. Can't name them off the top of my head. Like,
getting money.
Especially with the ones who are changing teams. A.J. Brown, that's another one who I just made a video on, which you should all watch. But do you think, I mean, it really goes without saying, these deals are going to be worth it for the Rams? Like, Cooper Kupp just had the greatest wide receiver season for any receiver ever. He was the 4th player to ever win the Triple Crown since the merger, and then he was even better in the playoffs, winning Super Bowl MVP. Like, yeah. And then Aaron Donald. Where do you sit? This is a little off topic, but where do you think his case is for Defensive Player of the Year? Or not Defensive Player of the Year. Aaron Donald for the greatest defensive player ever.
It's 50-50. It really depends who you ask. Because Lawrence Taylor and him, obviously. I didn't get to watch Lawrence Taylor. I mean, I don't think you did either. No, yeah. So, like, I can't really have a legit opinion about it because I never got to watch him. I mean, I guess you could say that about quarterbacks, but I mean, like, we all got to watch Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. You know? Like, those 3 are, like, I mean...
Well, you saw, like, 1 season of Peyton Manning.
Yeah,
based on what you say about when you started watching.
I saw 2 good seasons of Peyton. Or 1 good, 1 okay, 1 horrific. But, like, I think without having watched Lawrence Taylor, I think Aaron Donald's the best defensive player of all time. Because from the interior defensive lineman position, we've never seen someone be this good of a pass rusher and run stop. I mean, run stopper, sure, but we've never seen a defensive tackle get 20 sacks in a season or 15 or consistently over 10 while getting double and triple teamed every play. I mean, yeah, you could say that about any defensive lineman, like, oh, they get double, triple teamed, like, of all time. Not like, obviously, like, you know, like Brian Burns, good player. He doesn't get double, triple teamed every game, every second, you know. But you know what I'm saying? Like the Lawrence Taylors, the Aaron Donalds, you could be like, oh, they all get double, triple teamed. I'm like, yeah, but he's doing it from the interior, which is a lot harder than getting that edge, like, you know, like the angle off the edge or the easier moves that you could do on the edge. So obviously being an edge pass rusher is easier than being an interior pass rusher just because of the array of moves you can really bring out plus the speed. I mean, interior defensive linemen are also slower, so it does take more skill. Most of the, you know, they're all bigger boys, you know. Like,
sure. And yet, Lawrence Taylor, he presumably got double teamed a lot. We don't have the numbers for that, but just by the nature of the interior position, Donald is probably getting double teamed twice as much just because of how the position is.
Almost every interior defensive lineman gets double teamed.
And like you said, the fact that he's had pretty much the same success as all these edge defenders, whether current or legendary in the past, it speaks to his greatness.
What's his name? Ashawn Robinson, right? He probably gets double teamed a good amount just because he's on the inside. It's how it works.
Right.
But the other teams go out of their way to bring in a third guy to block Aaron. It doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
I think with that being said, he's got to be. I'll have these old heads. I mean, if old heads will just be like, oh, you didn't watch him. I'm like, cool, dude. I've never seen anyone like this. Not even J.J. Watt. I mean, where do you think J.J. Watt is? Like top 7?
Yeah. Yeah, probably. Especially like if you consider.
His peak. Because
like
obviously
his peak has a case for the greatest ever, but
his peak was
with
short.
All the injuries, I don't know exactly. But yeah, like you said, like at least you admit like where you stand. Like you're not saying, "Oh, Aaron Donald's the greatest," and I've watched everybody. No, you're like, I haven't seen him, so Aaron Donald is the greatest I've ever seen. I can't really speak to Lawrence Taylor and whatnot, but and like I go back and forth. Like I am really deep on like NFL history and whatnot. I like to study that and stuff. But I'm also like, all these old heads like to just hate on anything new, even if they can't accept that Aaron Donald could potentially be at that level. So that's a little annoying. But we did run a Twitter poll at JM Touchdown Show. If you're not following, you should be. And it was who is the best defense player in NFL history. The choices were Lawrence Taylor, Reggie White, Aaron Donald, and then other. Apparently, nobody's a big Deacon Jones or Mean Joe Green fan because
look, they're great.
Votes.
No,
I'm just throwing some names out there. But third place, Reggie White. We had 18 votes. Reggie White was third place. He had 11.1% of the vote. Lawrence Taylor was actually second place. He had a third, 33.3%. Aaron Donald, runaway winner, 55.6%. So either we have a lot of young fans or people see it as we see it. I tweeted earlier today. Yeah, I said that it's not even recency bias to say that Donald is the greatest. I have a couple stats here. The Pro Football Reference has a Hall of Fame monitor, which
he's at 100%.
Like Pro Bowls and all.
He's probably at 150%.
And well, it's not even a percent. It's just like a ranking to see where every player.
I'm just saying.
I gotta let the people know because they don't. But there's only 3 defensive tackles who have a higher number than Aaron Donald, and those are Bob Lilly, Randy White, and Alan Page.
Wait, who was the first guy? Should I know who that is?
Bob Lilly. He played with the Cowboys in like the 60s.
No,
all
right,
70s.
dude. No, all right. Put a guy from the 60s and 70s in the NFL today. They're getting hornswoggled. They're going to be flabbergasted by what is going on. They're going to see someone running a 4.2 and being like, what is that?
Well, I mean, that's how the advancement of time and medicine and technology work. You have to, judge by era. But my point was saying that those players were all higher than him, but they played 14, 14, and 15 seasons, and Aaron Donald's only played 8. And he's already, above Joe Green, John Randall, Warren Sapp, Merlin Olsen. And then there's 10 or so other defenders overall that are higher than Aaron Donald in this stat. But when you go by the per year number, which Aaron Donald has a 17.7 mark, Donald is the greatest of all of them. So, as we said, the main argument lies with peak. And since he's clearly not retiring too soon, based on this contract, I think he'll easily get to the top of these numbers. And everything else we've seen, he's been the PFF's highest graded defensive lineman every year since 2015. He's been the highest graded defender every year since 2016. He's won 3 Defensive Player of the Years. He's been top 5 every year since 2015. He's made the Pro Bowl in all 8 years of his career and first team All-Pros each of the past 7 years. The only defenders to make the Pro Bowl in the first 8 years were Lawrence Taylor and Derek Thomas, so good company there. And Joe Schmidt, a linebacker for the Lions in the 60s, and Bruce Smith are the only defensive players with more first-team All-Pros than Aaron Donald. And he's only played 8 years, and that's all time. So I rest my case.
Yeah. Aaron Donald, my case is Aaron Donald, big boy, triple team, gets sacks. Listen, Mike is the big notes guy, which I appreciate because he brings out that aspect. I just tell it how I see it, you know?
And that's why people gravitate to you more.
I'm an entertainer. I don't know what to tell you. All right. Hey, speaking of entertainers, let's talk about this loser. DK Metcalf. I don't like him.
Why the hate for DK Metcalf?
Bro, I don't know, dude. The crop top looks weird. That's not me saying anything because it looks good on Zeke, in my opinion. I liked when Zeke did it, but it just
at least when
he first started it. But like, I don't know, something about DK Metcalf just pisses me off. And he's sitting out at training at mini camp. Oh my God, you want a contract, dude? Learn how to run a route first, and then we'll talk, okay?
I think he's actually underrated.
Yeah, I know. Can I just please
graded out pretty well on reception perception.
Just once, can I chirp someone about a stereotype about them?
I'm gonna mute myself. Go ahead.
Right, so DK Metcalf. All right, though this sounds weird now. All right, I'm gonna continue. I just don't like him because he's a freak of nature, right? But I don't like him inside of people's top 10 receivers, which some people try to do. I like him in the 12 range. I like him in the 12-11 range. I do not like him at 8.
Such a big crime. You don't like him in the top 10.
No, 11, there is 12, a difference, though, because people see the top 10 as the elite. I don't know if I would call DK elite, especially, like, I mean, I know Russell was injured, but there were some inconsistencies at time last season, you know?
I mean, he had back-to-back double-digit TD seasons. He had Geno Smith throwing him the ball for half the year last year. He has a 1,300
How many drops did he have?
All-Pro
That's a genuine question.
Drops don't matter. I don't have that out in front of me right now. But, like, he's not even going to be 25 until December, and he already has all those accolades under his belt that Listen, we're not allowed to make fun of me for misspeaking. He had 4 drops last year. 4. So, there goes that talk.
Well, I mean, the year before he had 8, but same amount of targets.
And as we know, which we've mentioned on the podcast time and time again, that drops are an inconsistent and largely irrelevant statistic.
He had 7 in his rookie season too, but anyways.
And Terrell Owens had a lot of drops too.
Yeah, fair. All right, whatever. I just don't like him, okay? I don't. I love Tyler Lockett. I'll get that out of the way. He's not better than DK, but I love Tyler Lockett. I'm not calling DK bad at football. I just do not like him. I never will. I'll never draft him in fantasy. I'll never watch.
I never knew you had this deep.
I don't know what it is. I do not like him, and I never will. It's like I've come around to Derek White of the Celtics because of how he played from the end of the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. You know how you did that whole look into the camera, give a speech on the last episode. You're gonna have to do one of those for Derek White when they win the finals.
I will. Well, it depends how he does the rest of the finals.
They wouldn't have gotten here if it weren't for Derek White.
What if he sells in the finals? You never know. All right, but anyways, give DK his money. Don't make him the highest paid.
Yeah,
don't make him of all people change the wide receiver market. But give him his money. 22 a year, sure. Same as AJ. Give him the AJ Brown contract, and I'll be okay.
That's fair. The Seahawks recently restructured the contract of Shelby Harris, which freed up over $3 million.
Oh, Shelby! Why is Shelby?
A lot of people were.
Keep going.
A lot of people. I'm gonna mute you. A lot of people speculated that it was gonna be for a Baker Mayfield trade, but a lot of the people who are on the inside and in the know have said it's more likely for a DK extension. So I feel like it's gonna get done. It might be later in the offseason, but. And it's funny because, based on all the offseason reports and how the Seahawks have, blown everything up this offseason, you probably would have thought that Metcalf and Deebo Samuel were, 2 of the receivers most likely to get dealt this offseason. But
they're both staying.
Tyreek Hill could have seen that coming. Devontae Adams, who saw
both
that
top
coming
5 receivers.
But yeah. But I said he's probably going to extend. But I wanted to ask you, if he was traded, what are your favorite landing spots?
I'm going to sound like a hypocrite. The Patriots could use him, and I still won't like him. But we could use him. I said that about every wide receiver, though. I mean, Honestly, our wide receiver core isn't that bad anymore. We don't have a star, but it's not like...
This is a lot of solid pieces.
I mean, maybe Devontae Parker will probably go for 1,000. I think if he stays healthy, he will. Kendrick Bourne will be like 800. Same with Myers. Nelson Aguilar, screw you. You actually suck at...
What about Nikhil?
Other landing spots I would like... I mean, the Jets could always use a receiver. Chiefs. Ooh, I wouldn't like that, though. Putting DK on the Chiefs would be the epitome of my hatred for NFL. Like, honestly, I don't even hate the Chiefs. I just don't like... I hate, like, the idea of the Chiefs. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think I get you.
Like a team that's like...
It's not, like, personal, but, like...
Yeah. Other landing spots, though?
I had two.
Yeah, let me hear them. Oh, Colts.
The first one that came to mind, that's another really good one. But the first one that came to mind for me was the Bears. Like, they have one of the weakest cores
the weakest,
in
I think.
recent, like, I'm just saying, like, in recent NFL memory. Like, even, like, going back in time. Like,
Darnell's not bad.
Mooney's, he's pretty good. But
after that,
Byron Pringle is your number 2. Like, drafting the Velus Jones Jr., who's like 26 years old and is just a kick returner. He's going to be your third receiver. Like, you got to give Justin Fields something to work with. Anything. And, like I said, giving him a receiver who can just go up and get any ball, like, just because he's just a monster of a man like DK Metcalf, and he's young who could grow with Fields, I think that would be a great landing spot. And then I also had the Ravens for similar reasons. Wide receivers already a position of need even before they traded Marquise Brown and didn't replace him at all. So
they also have,
I think,
one of the worst receiving cores in the league.
Like, I think Rashad Bateman's going to be good.
Oh, we also got to factor in tight ends too.
And then,
but, like, you know what I'm saying, still.
Yeah. And I think Lamar Jackson's underrated as a passer,
yes.
But even still, having a receiver who's an accuracy eraser, like I mentioned, he can go up, go sideways, go down, and snag any ball. I think pairing him with DK would work wonders.
It would. And, I agree with those landing spots as well. I mean, honestly, I think the Colts would be perfect, though, because you get a veteran quarterback in Matt Ryan who's proven he's still got something. Look, he's not MVP Matt Ryan, but putting DK next to Michael Pittman and Jonathan Taylor, I mean, I like that a lot.
Yeah, I'm actually disappointed in myself that I didn't think of that, because that's a really good landing spot.
It works perfect. Frank Reich, he's a good coach, too. He'd be able to help DK out a lot with his, I mean, every receiver. This isn't me hating. I'm just genuinely saying this. With, no receiver's perfect. No quarterback's perfect. Nobody's perfect in the NFL. Like, Frank Reich could help, like, systematically scheme DK Metcalf's, like, somewhat inabilities to run some routes. Because we all know he's just not as quick on his feet as some other players. So, but speed-wise though, guy's a demon. Again, I respect DK. I just hate him. Like, I respect him at football. I just don't like him. I don't know if it's him as a person or just like whatever. Continue.
That's a good transition. I was gonna say. Speaking of people we hate, Deshaun Watson's been in the news.
Yeah. So he 66 woman. Now, he didn't misconduct all of them, but
he met with at least 66
women on 17 months, and 24 now have filed the lawsuit for misconduct. I'm not going to say it just in case. I think look, I like him as a football player, but hate him as a person, obviously. It's like Michael Vick with me, but I mean Michael Vick on a much lesser scale. Because, he actually... Whatever. He deserves to get suspended. I don't know for how long. I don't think a year, just based on how the NFL suspends people. Like, Ray Rice beat a woman and got 2 games.
But also, you have to acknowledge that we're in a different world than we were 8 years ago, which was 2014.
Yeah, but...
And
I mean,
I feel like
Tyreek Hill, didn't he get suspended? And he, like only a couple years ago, and he, also, tried to sell that he was...
2019.
Yeah, 3 years ago.
But it was also, he just beat one kid And
24.
Assault.
Again, we will have to see how the trials go. I will say that.
And us two white guys are not really the people you need to hear this from, but I thought since we run an NFL podcast, it was important to bring up regardless. Like, Deshaun Watson is just truly a despicable human being. To believe that every single one of those 66 women showed up to work and voluntarily decided to engage in
I thought
such
66,
activity with a client.
I thought it was just 66 massages,
Well,
not
but
not 66.
to say that
endings.
all of these, right? To say that all of these women showed up to work and voluntarily decided to engage with a client, or saying that to believe that every single one of those women is lying, is a level of hating women that no one should ever reach. But if you peruse NFL Twitter at all, you'll find that these people are everywhere, and there's so many bad faith arguments across the board about trying to make it about helping out small businesses, or if you're criticizing Watson, somehow that makes you racist or anti-black. Don't give these people the time of day, but also it's important to make sure that the real facts are out there. So I think you should all read that great New York Times story that Jenny Frentis did, and listen to what people like Nina Kimes are saying about it on Around the Horn and elsewhere. Because the New York Times, they actually investigated what happened on the Browns, the NFL, other outlets don't even care to, because hey, he's a great quarterback, he's going to help us win, he's going to bring us money. That's not what matters. I don't think he should play a single game this year. I don't think he should ever play again, but obviously that's that's not going to happen, I don't think. So just saying this year is generous.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think it would be the ultimate karma for the Browns if they handed him all this money, gave away all their future draft picks with good quarterback classes on the horizon, pissing Baker Mayfield off, and then Watson never ends up starting a game for them. But that was my shit.
So, I'll take 20 seconds. Based on how the NFL is with suspensions, I think it's going to be 8 games. I think he deserves more. But, again, although the NFL doesn't care about it, we do have to see how the trials actually go. That's all I have to say, because, obviously, 24 of people saying that. At least some of them have to be right. I'm not saying all are right. I'm not saying all are wrong. I want to see how the trials go before I really say that's anything really about this. You know what I mean? Just because, I honestly, I don't have that much information on it.
Yeah.
I want to see what happens.
Like I said, we're not really.
Anyways, bad transition.
In lighter news.
Hey, Akiem Hicks signed for $8 million with the Bucs for a year, right? Huh? Good signing.
Huge.
Ndamukong Suh, though, I am worried. I'm not worried. I'm very confused about what he's gonna do.
That was my first thought as well. I don't think at this point that they're gonna.
No shot. No, there's no reason to. But Akiem Hicks is a great player. He's gonna be a great fit. But everyone, at least from what I've seen, everyone cares about what's Ndamukong Suh gonna do now. I've seen people say he's gonna go back to the Lions. It's like a farewell tour. I would like that because with Motor City Dan Campbell, the GOAT, the bite your kneecaps off. I love that guy. Guy's a demon.
We have to retire that phrase.
No. Do you not like Dan Campbell?
No, he's fine. Just the whole bite your kneecaps phrase has been the most overdone Twitter joke in the history of Twitter jokes.
But Ndamukong Suh, with how he likes to step on people and hurt them, I feel like joining that bite your kneecaps culture, it makes too much sense. And, the team that drafted him number 2 overall back in year. Wait. 2009. No. That was Matthew Stafford year, 2010.
There you
Matthew
go.
Stafford was 2009. Yeah. I just had to think.
It was 2010.
For a sec. Anyways. Yeah. That's all I got. What's Ndamukong Suh going to do? Akiem Hicks, good player. Cool. You got your money. Do your thing, King.
I am a little worried that Hicks, he was in and out of the lineup last year. Just look at his game logs. He played 4 games. He missed 1. He played 1. He missed 1. He played 2. He missed 4. He played 1, missed 1, played 1, missed 1. He's been solid whenever he's played the last few years, but knowing when he'll play has been the problem. He also only played 5 games in 2019 due to an elbow injury. So he's been solid, like I said, but he hasn't really been able to recapture his 2018 form when he helped lead that elite Bears defense. He had a 91.7 PFF grade, which was 4th best in the NFL. He made the Pro Bowl.
97 point.
But 91.7. From 2016, he had 7 sacks, 8.5 sacks, 7.5 sacks from 2016 to 2018. But he's only had 8 total since then. And he's now 32 years old, 33 in November. So who knows what Hicks we'll see if he plays. But it's worth a flyer, especially for a team like the Bucs trying to make the Super Bowl.
If the Bucs' only problem is defensive tackle,
they're doing pretty good.
Is that all you got on him? All right. So there was 4 people who retired. Stephon Tuitt, interior defensive lineman for the Steelers, just blanked out. Ryan Fitzpatrick, journeyman quarterback, who I shout out in my new video, presumably coming out Saturday. I want to say, I don't know yet.
Don't jinx it.
Coming out this weekend. Alex Mack, center for I believe played for the 49ers last.
Yeah, and he also played with the Browns
and
Falcons.
And then Frank Gore retires finally. That was not a diss on Frank Gore. It's just he's played football for way too long.
I'll diss Frank Gore.
All right, so let's just get the easy ones over with. Stephon Tuitt. I personally don't know why he retired so early. If you'd like to enlighten me, Steelers fan.
So last summer his brother was killed in a hit and run accident.
Really?
And that really impacted Tuitt mentally. So he sat out the entire season last year. And so he's just been
wait, he didn't play last season?
Trying to heal. No, he did not play.
I'm not gonna lie, I do not watch Steelers games, so I just no offense.
Wow. I need to find a new co-host.
You can't find a new co-host guy though.
I can find a co-host man.
Damn.
Anyways, that's why Tuitt didn't play. So he said he knew there were things. He was called to do things bigger than football, and he was blessed to get out of the game with his health. So you can't not root for him. Happy for them that I just didn't know why. Out. But as a Steelers fan and a football fan, it's hard not to think of what could have been, because he and Cam Hayward could have wrecked NFL offenses for years to come. He had his last year in the NFL in 2020. He had 11 sacks. And he had 71 pressures, which was second only to Aaron Donald among defensive linemen. It was 4th in the entire NFL behind Donald, Shaq Barrett, and TJ Watt. And his PFF grade was in the 80s every year from 2017 to 2019. And it was as high as 89.1 in 2019 when he tore his pec that year. So it's a big loss. I think he could have been really great for a decade plus because he's still pretty young. But the Steelers, they were kind of on top of this. They drafted DeMarvin Leal in the 3rd round this year, kind of as their replacement. So he's going to have to step up big this year, but I'm happy that Tuitt was able to heal and get what he needed out of the game.
Yeah, I mean, good for him. Now that I know the story, good for him. Made a good decision, I'd say.
So,
for his mental health, But Fitzmagic. You're retired.
It's magic.
What can I say besides he's the best journeyman of all time?
This is going to be great.
But what? There's no other player that's gone from team to team to team to team to team to team that's as good.
Josh McCown.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. I mean, maybe you could say Nick Foles, but he really was only good with the Eagles. No other team he played on, he was good for.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about Philadelphia, but whenever he plays in Philly, he's just good.
Yeah, he was bad with the Bears, bad with the Jaguars, bad with the
Rams.
Rams.
Up with the Chiefs.
Only played 1 game with the Chiefs. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, anyways, Ryan Fitzpatrick. I mean, I love the guy. He's got a great personality from what I've seen. Great beard.
I was just gonna say the first thing that came to mind is everybody's weird obsession with him.
It's just awesome. It's no, but the thing is, right? So sorry to cut you off, but the thing is, do you not like him, or not like that, but
no,
you're not a Ryan
like
Fitzpatrick fan?
No, it's just everything around him.
It's because, dude, he'll always go off for 2 or 4 games a year when he plays that Bucs year when Jameis was suspended for the first couple games.
Yeah, I got some stats.
Yeah, everyone loved him then. And then he did bad, and then Jameis came in, and then he kept switching off, and that was sick. The Jets years, he almost led them to the playoffs, and then the next year, 7 interceptions in a game. Six interceptions in a game. I didn't get to watch his early years before the what team was he on before the Jets?
Before the Jets, it was the Texans.
Yeah, so the Texans. I don't really know much about him on the Texans, but
Bengals, Rams.
And then he was on the Dolphins. You know, he had that one decent season. Like, obviously, they didn't win many games, but he didn't play terrible. And then, you know, the next year he was going off, leading the Dolphins to wins. Then Flores like, let me put 2 in for no goddamn reason. And everyone was like, okay. And then, right when the fourth quarter came around, guess who came back in? Ryan Fitzpatrick. That one throw against the Raiders. I don't think any other quarterback in the league would have made that throw. And that's not saying Ryan Fitzpatrick is that good. That's just how he is.
Did you just call Ryan Fitzpatrick the GOAT?
Basically, yeah.
Just said.
But no, like, I it's not because he's like as good as or better than other quarterbacks, because he's like the 33rd probably best quarterback. But it's just it's just Ryan Fitzpatrick. Like, he's making that throw, no one else is.
You mentioned you didn't really know much about his time with the Texans. I just remembered he had that 0 touchdown 6 pick game with the Jets. He actually had a 6 touchdown 0 pick game in 2014 with the Texans. So
actually, I only remember that because I literally watched a YouTube video by I forget who, but the other day about that.
I'm pretty sure he's probably the only player in NFL history to have a 6 TD 0 pick and 6 pick 0 TD game. He's just, like you said, like, the obsession around him is weird. Like, when he got to Tampa and he wore like Deshaun Jackson's suit to a press conference, but like,
that's iconic.
Like, he is very intriguing. Like, he's very intriguing. Like, I can't even deny that. Like you said, the Tampa game, it was against a Saints team on the road that went through 13-3, and he had the 6th highest yards per pass attempt in a single game for quarterbacks that had at least 25 attempts. He averaged 14.9 yards per attempt, had 4 TDs, 0 picks, 417 yards, completed 75% of his passes, and they won 48-40. He had a 156.2 rating. And he and Dak Prescott are the only quarterbacks in NFL history with 3 consecutive 400-yard games. And Fitzpatrick is the only to do it in 3 games to start a season. But as you mentioned, he fell apart down the stretch in Week 3 against the Steelers. He threw 3 picks, and then he was benched in Week 4 versus the Bears, and then Jameis Fitz for the rest of that year. And then no matter what team he went to, he always had those moments, like the Dolphins. You mentioned the Raiders play, but even the year before, he had that comeback win against the Patriots in Week 17, which got them out of a bye. And even before that, he had a 419 4-TD game versus the Bengals.
We should have gone to the Super Bowl that year, dude.
They didn't have enough help on offense. I hate to break it to you. But that 6-pick game against the Chiefs in 2016, he was the first player to throw 6 picks and 0 TDs in a single game since Tom Tupa did it in 1989. And if you don't know Tom Tupa, he was mostly a punter during his career. He also moonlighted at quarterback. The Jets years, they won 5 straight games before the final game of the season, including against the Patriots in overtime. He threw 3 TDs and threw the game winner.
Yeah, trust me, I remember that game.
But then in Week 17,
that was the Brandon Marshall or was it Eric Decker or Brandon Marshall that caught the corner route touchdown? I think it was Eric Decker.
Eric Decker caught the game.
Yeah, no, on Malcolm Butler too. That was painful. That was like Malcolm Butler's good year too.
Yeah, that was his after the Super Bowl. But after those 5 straight wins and against the Patriots in Week 16, in Week 17 they played the Bills. They had to win to get into the playoffs. That was it. Win and you're in. And he threw an interception on all 3 of the Jets' fourth quarter drives. And they lost to the Bills, who missed the playoffs. And I was actually in Cleveland for the Steelers-Browns game, Week 17 that year. And the Steelers needed to win and have the Jets lose to get in. And the loudest cheer in the stadium that happened all game was when we all watched Ryan Fitzpatrick throw that final interception on our phones. So I always have a special place in my heart for him for that moment. And we haven't even mentioned the Bills and all his antics. They started the season 3-0, had a 21-point comeback on the Patriots in 2011, but then he signed a huge contract midseason, and at the time of the contract, he threw 12 touchdowns and 6 picks, and after the contract, he threw 12 touchdowns and 17 interceptions. it's just been the story of his career, and it started from when he was a rookie. In his first ever game, he came off the bench to lead the Rams from a 24-3 deficit with 310 yards and 3 touchdowns. Next game. And then in his second start, he threw 5 picks and no touchdowns against the Vikings. It's just like the obsession is weird to me, but the intrigue is definitely there, and it's been entertaining to watch for his entire career.
I don't know. He's just awesome.
I do find it funny how people thought he was the missing piece for Washington to make a playoff run when he was, 37 years old? And then he got injured.
I actually don't remember that.
That was a big talking point last. So, they almost beat the Bucs with Taylor Heineke. Now you just add Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's been so good with the Dolphins, and they're a shoo-in for the playoffs. They might make a run. Yeah, I heard that a lot last night.
Honestly, I thought they were going to make the playoffs just because they have a good team. They just didn't perform.
And now they downgraded at quarterback, right?
I'm going to leave. No, they got a top.
You haven't even talked about Alex Mack yet.
I got nothing to say on Alex Mack, if you want me to be honest.
And listen, I made notes. I got everything.
I want to go back to that
thing
you just said. No, they didn't downgrade. Taylor Heineke is a top 27
I know,
quarterback.
I'm just messing with you.
Carson Wentz is a top 18.
Also, I have. Okay, that's fair. I thought you were going to go higher.
I'd say top 16.
I have one more thing. Don't. I have one more thing to say about Ryan Fitzpatrick. I don't know if you saw this tweet that was getting.
I actually have not been on Twitter a lot in the past couple days. I won't lie to you. I've been playing this cool phone game called Conflict of Nations. I found it on a TikTok ad. Dude, I'm like Afghanistan. I'm taking over.
We are not sponsored, by the way.
No, this is just like, it's one of those stupid phone games like you get addicted to. I became Afghanistan. I've taken over Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan. I'm about to take over Kazakhstan, I think. I forget what country it is. It's one of the stands. I was tasked by the rest of my coalition, it's called, to take over all the stands. No, it's Kazakhstan I'm afraid of. They're large. They took over 2 other countries, and they're right above me. So it's like, I don't know. All right. I haven't been on Twitter that much, that's all.
I really need to add a booing sound effect to this media board.
All right, what do you got about, what's the tweet, dude?
Anyways, the tweet, it was some guy was saying that he was asking if Ryan Fitzpatrick deserved to be in the Hall of Fame because he was arguably the best backup quarterback of all time. And if you're the best at something, you deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. First, he was not the best backup of all time. That's Earl Morrall. Second, he was hardly even a backup in his career. He was mostly a starter everywhere he went. Third, backup quarterback is not a position in the NFL. He's at best the 33rd best quarterback in the NFL most years. That's like saying, should the best dime cornerback make it in the Hall of Fame? Should the best third down running back make it in the Hall of Fame?
I want to go back to that third down running back thing. That is a legit position, in my opinion, in a way. Not like a separate thing, but Darren Sproles, Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush sucked at running the ball, but putting him on third down, Freaking James White, dude. The definition. James White doesn't deserve Hall of Fame. Neither do maybe Darren Sproles because of his special team work. But you know what I'm saying, right?
But it's not like a legit.
No.
Just being the best at that, you would get.
No.
Anyways, it was just, and he would try to pass it off. Oh, I'm just asking a question. I don't believe it. Asking questions is not a defense, as my friend Jerry on Twitter pointed out. It was just ridiculous.
I agree with you. But what you got about Alex Mack? I have no contribution to this topic.
Alex Mack. All right. So he's made 7 Pro Bowls and 3 second-team All-Pros in his career. And that was behind only Ryan Khalil, Travis Frederick.
You know what? Wait. I'm just going to give you the show. Turning everything off.
What? All right.
You got
now that loser's gone. Alex Mack, the only centers with more Pro Bowls in NFL history are Jim Otto, Jim Ringo, Mike Webster, and Marquise Pouncey and Kevin Mawae. All of them are Hall of Famers except Pouncey, who's not eligible, but he's probably a shoo-in. But tangent here, not to be canceled by Steelers Twitter again, but Marquise Pouncey is one of the most overrated players in NFL history, and he arguably did not deserve at least half of those Pro Bowls. It was just because he was a high draft pick, played for a great college team, and played for a great NFL team who had a history of great centers, so he made all those by default, not even based on his actual play on the field.
That's not a bad take.
Alex Mack, even though Alex Mack, despite playing for one of the Steelers' biggest rivals, was better than Marquise Pouncey, and I say that as a Steelers fan. Alex Mack made the All-Decade team, and 18 out of 22 offensive players on the 90s All-Decade team are in the Hall of Fame. 19 of 22 on the 80s All-Decade team are in the Hall of Fame, et cetera, et cetera. It's a pretty good barometer of who's going to get into the Hall of Fame. I'm not acting like I'm an offensive line expert, but I'm just basing off of trends. He's probably going to have a shot at least. Even by PFF grades, he was their highest graded center with the Falcons in 2016. He was second in 2017 behind Jason Kelce. Even as a rookie, he was as high as sixth, so he's got the case behind him. I just wanted to honor him because out of all these players who recently retired, I'd say he's probably the best, even though he'll probably get the least attention just because he's a center for mostly bad teams during his career. But you can come back now, Joe, because I think we should talk about Mr.
So,
Franklin
I know what you're going to say.
Gore.
I know you're a hater of him. I'm not a hater, nor am I a lover. However, pause.
You decided to throw that joke in, it just threw you off.
I didn't mean to. That was a complete accident, I'm not going to lie. Frank Gore's San Francisco days, Hall of Famer. However, he was really good with San Francisco. I don't think you can lie. However, I think he only deserves a Hall of Fame because of his stats. He was never, after his first, I don't know. I think he deserves Hall of Fame just because of his stats. Is he actually like a Hall of Fame caliber running back? Is he top 10? Is he top 20? Is he even top 30? Is he even top 40? Top 40 maybe.
Keep going.
I'll give him top 40. Top 30 maybe. I don't really know. I can't make a list of top 30 running backs of all time. So
you mean just because he has the third most rushing yards ever, that doesn't mean he's the third best
No,
running
he
back
played 15
ever?
years in the league.
That's absurd.
His last couple of years, he was still mildly productive. 600 and 650 and 700 yards. That's not awful, honestly, if you want me to be honest. For how old is he? 35, 36, 37-year-old running back, the position that you retire at 30 at. Honestly, that's really good for being that old. I won't lie to you. Was he efficient? Yeah. Actually, with Miami, he was 4.6 yards per attempt, and then the other years 3.6, 3.5. With Indy, he was very inefficient. But yeah, my final take, dude. Just give him the give him the Hall of Fame. He's not like a first ballot, not a second ballot, not a third. Maybe after 5 years.
So I don't necessarily disagree with you too much. I'm just gonna go a lot more extreme with it. First, I'll preface it by saying it's amazing what he did at that position with that longevity. Hardly ever getting injured, especially with how it looked when he was entering his career. It looked like it may never even get off the ground because he tore his ACL multiple times in college. Side note, those 2001 Hurricanes team was insane. In the running back position, they had Clinton Portis, Willis McGahee,
What's the
Frank
criminal?
Gore,
What year was
Davenport.
the criminal Hurricanes team?
I mean, there were multiple.
Hernandez.
Hernandez.
Wait.
Aaron Hernandez was a Florida Gator, my friend.
Is that not what you said? What'd you say?
The Miami Hurricanes.
Dude,
Wow. We just lost.
No, I literally, right I thought you, that was my fault. I just messed up, dude.
But that Gators team with Hernandez was also known like that for a lot of.
I was thinking like the same ballpark.
About make a 30 for 30. But yeah, those are the teams. But they had 5 running backs on one roster who made it to the NFL. Even Jarrett Payton, Walter Payton's son, didn't do much, but he was on the team. And
you ever notice that? Like, a lot of people's sons in any sport are terrible. Like, Michael Jordan, his kids, except for Jimmy Butler, he's definitely his son. 100%. I don't know if you watch Mike Korzemba, bro. He's his kid. Anyways.
And Otto Porter is Wilt Chamberlain's great-grandson or whatever.
Maybe. They look.
But yeah, I could buy that about Jimmy Butler.
Did you watch Mike Korzemba?
But yeah, all the rest of it, I don't even know what that is.
Do you watch NBA YouTube? I only watch NBA YouTube. I rarely watch NFL YouTube, believe it or not. Not really.
I don't really watch.
It's like a 3-to-1 ratio. Like I watch 3 NBA videos to 1 NFL video.
I'm mostly a podcast guy.
That's funny to say.
I mean,
I watch clips.
Sometimes you. Anyways, I think I should get back to my spiel here, which I promised Clonecast they really wanted to hear my Frank Gore takes, and I promised that I wouldn't post them on Twitter, which I did a little bit because I'm not a strong person. They always suck me in. But why I think Frank Gore is not a Hall of Famer is because he was probably only a top 5 running back for one season in his career, which was 2006. Besides that, it's just a lot of volume numbers because he played so long, as I mentioned, which, like I said, sure, that's cool. Like, I wouldn't hate if he got in just based on that because you kind of want to honor it somehow, but the way people talk about him is just wrong on pretty much every account. Here is where he ranked in rushing yardage in his years as a starting running back from 2006 to 2020. So 2006, as I mentioned, he was great. He was 3rd that year. And he was 13th, 14th, 11th, 21st, 6th, 10th, 9th, 9th, 12th, 12th, 25th, 33rd, 30th. Does that seem like a Hall of Famer to you, or just a solid running back who had 1 or 2 really good years? Now let's look at the rushing DYAR numbers, which is a more indicative statistic. It's based on value added on a not a per play, but overall rate. 2005, he was 20th. 2006, 7th. 14th, 24th, 21st, 33rd, 47th, 4th, 20th, 10th, 36th, 12th, 18th, 17th, 43rd, 42nd. So over the course of, what is that, like 16 years, he was top 10 3 times and top 5 1 time. And I heard arguments that he had a bad offensive line. When he was with the 49ers, their PFF run blocking grades were 7th, 30th, 29th, 27th. So 3 bad years. And 6th, 3rd, 1st, 12th, 3rd. They had Joe Staley, Mike Upati.
Oh my God, Mike Upati.
Anthony Davis.
Dude, that guy could only run block.
Jonathan Goodwin.
If you put a finger on him and what pass rushing,
Alex
dude.
Boone.
Oh my God, he was getting bundled.
Yeah, which doesn't have anything to do with Frank Gore. Like you said, he was a monster in the run game. They had solid to good offensive linemen throughout his entire time there. It's just there's really no case that he was among the elite of the elite besides that 2006 year. He had 1695 yards that year, which was somehow only 3rd because that was LaDainian Tomlinson's record touchdown season and Larry Johnson's record attempt season. He carried the ball 417 times. But Gore led the league in yards after contact per rush. But I feel like I should give him a little bit of props. Also in the Super Bowl when they played the Ravens, he had 110 yards on 5.8 yards per attempt. And he had a huge 33-yard run to set the 49ers up in the red zone when they were trying to win the game at the end. But then after that huge run, they unsuccessfully ran LaMichael James, noted goal line back. And then they threw 3 straight incompletions. So, solid running back. Not a Hall of Famer in my opinion, but not an egregious crime if he makes it in. But I feel like I have to push back so hard because the way people act about him is just over the top. I put him to sleep because of this Frank Gore talk.
Okay, it's gone. Yeah, I mean, I got like the same take. I mean, put him in.
Yeah, like I said, mine was just a bit more extreme.
Put him in. But, yeah.
And I feel like we should just go to another running back for the 2000s. I feel like we should just mention this briefly. Marion Barber III, he played with the Cowboys and also the Bears a little bit. He recently passed away, and like I said, he only retired like a decade ago. We don't really know everything, so not going to comment on that. But I just wanted to honor him a little bit because he had back-to-back double-digit rushing touchdown seasons in 06 and 07. He had a 90.0 PFF grade in 2007, which was 2nd in league. And he forced 51 missed tackles that year, which was 1 shy of Marshawn Lynch in the league lead, despite Barber receiving 83 fewer carries than Lynch. And that was really his greatest strength, and what he was known for is just his physicality running the ball. We all know about that famous, the greatest 2-yard run ever against the Patriots when he was in the end zone and broke like 24 tackles. Like, I regularly go back and watch that, like, at least once every other week or so. I'm like, how did he do that? Like, he was just so different. Like, he never had the eye-popping stats, but just watch him play. Like, that's a football player right there. And I also have to say outlets, like media outlets, need to learn how to read a room because when he passed away, ABC posted an article saying, when the headline was, that he never had a 1,000-yard season, and we just saw what Adam Schefter did with Dwayne Haskins when he passed away. Like, have some respect. Read a room. It's not that hard.
Also, rest in peace to Jeff Gladney as well. Very, very young man. What was he, 25? 24?
Yeah, he was just drafted, what, 2020?
Yeah, 2 years ago. To this point, like
he didn't even have a chance.
Didn't have a shot.
Like, to do anything.
Not in life, not even just in the NFL, in life.
Yeah. And he was just coming back to the NFL. Like, it seemed like he had some off-field issues, but it seemed like he was getting his life back on track, and so that's just really sad.
So,
on a lighter
rest
note.
in peace to those guys. Let's continue.
Do you have anything else, or are you ready for the greatest segment of the podcast?
I was gonna bring up Larry Johnson for a sec. The guy you just talked about. Those 2 years where he had 1,750 yards all right. So let's say like 3,600 yards total and 37 touchdowns rushing. After that, he never reached over 5 touchdowns or 1,000 yards or 900 yards, I should say.
That's what happens when you just run the wheels off a running back like that. It just happened that quickly. And look at you looking up historical stats and stuff.
Wait a second. That 416 carry season, he also had 41 catches. So.
Wow.
You're telling me he made the first team All-Pro over
touches.
LaDainian Tomlinson?
I think they had 2 running backs at that time. Yeah, because that would have
ridiculous.
Been the biggest crime of all time.
No, because he did do really well, but I mean, LaDainian Tomlinson did obviously deserve it. Anyways,
LT had 1,800 yards.
I'm on your. I just don't think it would be the biggest crime ever.
No, the biggest crime ever is someone voting Michael Vick MVP over Peyton Manning in 2004 when he broke the single season passing touchdown record, and Vick was garbage, like literally garbage. Anyways, quiz. I actually have 2 questions if you want to do 2 today.
God damn it.
So, first, I'll do the easier one first.
Please.
Per Pro Football Reference, Aaron Donald has 226 quarterback hits since being drafted in 2014, which is 42 more than the next best player during that time period. Can you name the other players in the top 10 of that list?
TJ Watt, no.
TJ Watt is
Joey
9th.
Bosa.
Joey Bosa is not listed. So.
What? Whatever.
Joey Bosa is 16th.
All right, Cameron Hayward.
Cameron Hayward is not listed.
JJ Watt.
JJ Watt is 2nd. He has 184.
Chandler Jones.
Chandler Jones is in 7th place with 160.
Justin Houston.
Justin Houston is 18th.
What?
So not on the list.
Since 2014.
Since 2014.
Who's been like Robert Quinn? Come on. There's no way.
Robert Quinn is not
He had like
listed.
20 sacks last year. He had like 18.
He's 29th. Well, see, the thing about Robert Quinn is he racks up a lot of sacks, but besides that, he doesn't really do much in the pass rushing department. Like, if he gets home, he gets home, and that's about it. And we also know he has great season, bad season, great season, bad season. That's true. So, no.
Von Miller.
He got Von Miller is 4th place.
So I have like
Yeah,
5 more. All right. Let me think. Cameron Jordan.
Cameron Jordan is 5th place.
No shot. No,
Just say it.
I don't want to hear the noise.
Just say it.
Jack
Just say
Barrett. No. Yeah, weird one. Jason Pierre-Paul.
Jason Pierre-Paul is not listed. He is 27th.
That's a lot lower than I thought. Oh, Myles Garrett?
fair, he
No,
did miss time.
no, he's played like 5 years.
Myles Garrett is 24th.
Yeah, he's played like 5 years.
I mean, he's played the same amount of time as T.J. Watt, and T.J. Watt's in the top 10. So, if that tells you anything, that was my Steelers fan talking. I'll give you this: they're
Khalil
all
Mack.
mostly defensive linemen. Khalil Mack is 12.
What? That is fake news.
Take it up with Pro Football
Fletcher
Reference.
Cox.
Fletcher Cox is 19th.
DeMarcus Lawrence.
DeMarcus Lawrence is way down the list somewhere. 40th. I admit, like, at least one of these just
DeMarcus Ware
really shocked me. No, he played like 3 years.
I'm throwing
in
out
this time
names.
span. I'll give one of them mostly played with the Bengals.
Dunlap.
Yep, he's actually third place, one behind J.J.
How many
Watt.
do I need now? 3?
3 more.
Danielle Hunter.
No Danielle Hunter.
I threw that out there.
Solid guess.
I still can't believe Justin Houston's not in there. How many of the rest of them are active?
Pretty sure all of them.
Melvin Ingram?
Yeah. No Melvin Ingram.
So.
I could tell by how you said it. He's 25th
Really?
place.
Okay. I still can't believe. Oh my god, dude, this is harder than you said. This was the easy one. Like, what type of player should I be looking for?
Like I said, they're all defensive linemen. One of them, let's see, what kind of hint? One of them was a top 6 pick in the draft.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's DeForest Buckner.
No.
I know.
And this top 6 pick in the draft played up in New York / New Jersey.
Is it Muhammad Wilkerson? Is
Nope.
it his teammate? Is it his teammate?
Which teammate?
Is
Maybe.
it? Oh my God! Wait, does any of this? Sheldon Richardson.
Because they draft
Leonard Williams.
They drafted 3 defense. Leonard Williams is in 10th place. That was the one that was most surprising to me. So you got 2 more.
2 more.
One of them was one of the key pieces on a team that made it to the AFC Championship a couple years ago.
Calais Campbell.
Calais Campbell was 8th place.
Damn, I forgot about him.
Yeah.
All right.
Actually, that year, the other player was in the NFC Championship.
Saints and Rams. What was that year?
Year before.
The Falcons.
Year after.
Who are we playing this? Eagles and Vikings. Brandon Graham.
No.
I already said Fletcher Cox. Am I just like missing someone completely?
Other team.
Everson Griffin.
Everson Griffin, 6th place with 162.
What's the next question?
Congratulations. All right. This one is Ryan Fitzpatrick. He threw at least 1 touchdown pass to 61 different players in his career. Can you name all 60? I'm kidding. Can you name at least 10 of them?
DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh my God, who was that? Jordan, the tight end of the Texans.
Jordan.
No, what's his name, bro? It starts with a D. Number like 87 or something. Can I look his name up? I'm doing it.
Sure.
Let's say like. What's that? Is it CJ Fedorowicz? That's like not who I'm thinking of, but. Owen Daniels. What other teams did he play? Oh, did he end up throwing a touchdown in week 1? No. Oh, Deshaun Jackson, Mike Evans, Cameron Brate.
There's 3. Cameron Brate.
Ronald Jones.
Ronald Jones. Let's see if he's on there.
Stevie Johnson.
Stevie Johnson. He's actually
Charles Clay.
He threw the most touchdowns. Charles Clay is not on there.
Devontae Parker, Mike Gesicki, Myles Gaskin.
Let's see. Did he throw one to Gaskin? He did. He got 8. So this one might actually be easier.
Wilson. Dolphins. Albert Wilson.
How is that the one you get? He threw 1 touchdown to him.
I don't know. Who else was a Buccaneer?
Yeah, one more. Come on, there's a couple obvious ones.
Well, I just can't remember all the teams right now. So it was the Rams. Let's say Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Both of them actually. So.
What were name me some other obvious ones.
Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker.
Oh my God, I forgot about the Jets. We talked about that earlier.
Those are 2 and 3. Scott Chandler was his tight end with the Bills. He had the 5th most. I know that's before your time. Lee Evans.
Oh, I remember Lee Evans. I think. Wait, is Lee Evans the guy I'm thinking of? When did he play? When did he play?
Not in your mind. He was with the Bills from 2004 through 2010, and then he was with the Ravens. He's the one who dropped that touchdown in the 2011 AFC Championship.
Yep.
There was also O.J. Howard, C.J. Spiller, Fred Jackson, Terrell Owens, Chad Johnson, T.J. Houshmandzadeh. He was with the Bills for 1 year.
Yeah.
Chris Godwin, Arian Foster, Chris Johnson, Delaney Walker.
Oh, Delaney Walker, that's a good one.
Andre Johnson, Nate Washington. Even he threw 2 TDs to J.J. Watt.
I definitely should have gotten Brandon. I was just thinking more recent. You know?
Yeah. Anyways, you passed.
Let's go. All right.
I'm proud of you.
I try. I really do.
Anyways, that's all I got for you. I don't think you have a quiz question for me.
The segment is you quiz me, all right? That's the segment.
That's the way I like it.
Pause. I'm kidding. Well, guys, this marks the end of episode 9 again. That could be completely wrong if it's episode 9. I think it is, though.
Yeah, this is the Drew Brees episode of the JMTD show, if you will. What is that face?
Listen, we hated on Drew Brees last episode.
Do you prefer Carson Palmer?
Historical number
He's looking
9.
up Rajon Rondo. Oh, no, he's kind of gotten into some recent events.
Matthew Stafford episode. Sick. Tony Romo. Steve McNair.
Steve McNair, rest in peace. By the way, you mentioned Drew Brees. I don't know if you saw, but Jason Garrett has been named as his replacement at NBC. So one boring white guy for another boring white guy. Can't wait to see all his insightful things he has to add to the conversation on NBC, because we were sorely missing it with Drew Brees, and Jason Garrett's definitely going to add
You didn't? Why didn't you bring this up earlier? Oh my God, I would have went off. Dude, but now the episode's over. It's too late now.
No, it's not. I saw the update like right before we started recording. Then it just.
Dude, Jason, God damn it! NB. This is why no one will ever will watch football on NBC, because it sucks. You go from Drew Brees, cool, Hall of Fame quarterback, sick, to Jason Garrett, the 8-8. Him and Jeff Fisher, the definition of 7-9, 8-8. Well, like one is 7-9, one is 8-8. You know what I meant? Oh my God, he was so. Oh my God, do I have to hear him clap?
And he's like the most like milquetoast like character in the NFL. Like of all the people on an NFL field or sideline, I'm like, that's the person I want to hear talk. Jason Garrett's like right very close to the bottom.
I'd rather hear.
Like you see ESPN with Peyton Manning and you getting Tom Brady.
I would
over
rather
here
hear Kyle Shanahan's get back coach. Is that him with the get back coach? I'd rather hear him talk than Jason Garrett. Because Jason Garrett is a terrible coach, was never good. Ruined the Giants' offense that had potential last year.
I just love those kneel downs at your own end of the field.
I'm done. No. All right. Good night, guys. Thank you for tuning into episode 9 of the Jam Touchdown Show. Our socials will be listed below. I'm doing this fast because I don't want to talk about this anymore. So if you guys want to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, even though we don't really post there that much, we're more of Twitter people. Don't even attempt to follow our TikTok.
You need to get on that, Joe. You're the one who set it up. You're the TikTok master. You're the youth. I'm the old man.
Do you know how much of a hassle it is to like have to take clips from? So I have to take clips from this for YouTube. That's not that bad.
It's just a hassle for us enough to do the clips on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, like sometimes I don't have time for it, which is why they either come in late or one time they didn't come at all. But yeah, so look, that stuff takes a while, and you actually have to like I have to like put a part of my day, which I bet you do too with like the thumbnails and stuff. But like, you know what I'm saying? All right, you know what? Let's stop recording. Good night, guys. Thank you for tuning in.
Everybody, listen to the Clonecast Pod, their official Star Wars podcast of the JMTD show, and see you next week.
Adios.